Hey all, welcome to External Secrets Operator Community Meeting. Uh, as a reminder, this community meeting is to talk about the External Secrets Operator project. We do have a code of conduct, which is pretty much aligned with CNCF's code of conduct. We need to be kind and respect other people's opinions. We also have our meeting notes in HackMD. It's already available. Both links are already available in the chat. If you don't have it, please just tell us and we will send you. If you want to add anything to this community meeting, just put it under the meeting notes and we will go through over it, okay? Having said that, we have a few new members here. If you want to give a quick introduction, feel free to. It's completely optional.
Oh, I guess I can introduce myself. Hey, guys, my name is Nilik. Uh, I am one of the maintainers of Secret Store CSI driver. And I was just curious, I wanted to sort of drop in, say hi. And unfortunately, I just realized I have conflicting meeting. Just somebody sent it to me now. So probably I will drop for now, but hope to join you guys in the next community meeting.
Awesome. It kind of aligns with our meeting notes, actually. One of the topics was the whole CSI
Right.
topic. Awesome.
Okay. Thank you
Hopefully
for
you join
joining.
us the next time. Thanks a lot for joining.
Yeah.
Thanks.
See you guys later. Bye.
See you.
And Gurav, if you want to
Hello.
give you an introduction as well.
Sure. Hi, everyone. My name is Gaurav Dasan. I work from Chicago. I am a new contributor to ESO project, and I'm here to just say hi and get my PR reviewed. Thank you. Or discuss about it if not reviewed. Thanks.
And I think this one was on me, and probably that's why it stopped. Sorry about that. So
No
let's
worries.
going over the agenda notes. I will try to follow the order. Feel free to edit any topics that we want. Okay. With the first point that we have, I added this one, is general plans. Basically, things that we need to do, generally speaking, around ESO, the big topics that we've kind of seen while talking to other people, to other companies on KubeCon. The first one that is relevant here is the documentation improvement. We even created a specific issue for it, right? Just to raise up the need for us to eventually go there and pick up that documentation. Otherwise, it's going to just be a stale issue. Similar to that, even though we don't have... Go on,
Let
Sally.
me add, sorry, Gustavo, let me add real quick that I had been going through it and found coincidentally some of the same issues, and I will work on it. I saw Lucas' issue. I will work on that because I need it. So
Awesome. Thanks very much.
nice, thanks.
The second one that is very related, a very related subject, is security best practices. This one originated from discussion that me and Moritz had together. Moritz and I had together on the booth. And basically having a documentation on what's the best practices around using ESO is kind of important.
I'm writing a blog about that.
Writing a blog about that, but even
I am writing a blog about that.
Awesome. But
Yeah.
I think officially supporting on the documentation, I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
it's also important. So maybe after your blog, you can kind of convert it into something official.
Okay. Yeah.
You can use
Yeah, I think I'm gonna write up an issue on that because I have like a list somewhere in my notes about like all the things that I want to cover in these best practices docs, and yeah, so I guess I'm just gonna drop an issue and then do continue working on that. related to that, do we have an official external security operator blog? Because I've seen like from different places. Okay. I mean, I've seen links from our documentation to other blogs, and yeah, I guess that's good.
The next one that we have here that I also added is the plugin capability. this one for me is a hot topic, and I would also like to discuss if maybe we want to add that to our GA release. I know it can be a little bit tricky. My concern is that if we release GA without having that, introducing a plugin system will be even trickier. So that's why I want to see if we rather want to actually invest the time that we have on the plugin.
Yeah, I agree. I think this is pretty important. I also I agree that we should do this before GA. Maybe at least to do a spike, so we get like the whole layout, and to get like a migration path, because we cannot do like a big bang release. We need like some sort of migration path to slowly transition towards this plugin system and a more like a distributed repository setup. And this will take quite a while, I think, to implement that, to test that. So yeah, I guess that this will probably take like a couple of months to implement it and to execute it. So that will significantly push the GA release back for a couple of months.
We don't need to like totally discuss it now, but just so I get the feeling of how you imagine like the plugin system working. Like, do you imagine this being a runtime plugin, another binary, and then we interact with it via gRPC, or like?
In that issue, I've dropped a comment, a large-ish comment. We cannot go through this today.
Yes.
Maybe it's a quick rundown about that. So the whole security aspects hinge on the problem that everything runs in one process, and like all the dependencies that are pulled in from the different providers, whether it be AWS, Azure, Alibaba, and whatnot, like pulling in everything into a single binary, and this single binary or container or execution environments potentially has like a lot of access. So because the service account token, for instance, is able to read all the secrets from a cluster. So this is like a very good entry point for an attacker to get hold of. So the idea is to basically split that binary into multiple binaries, so they run in dedicated containers. The idea is that we have like this operator which runs privileged with the service account, and everything else, every provider runs in the same pod in a different container which runs without any privileges, and they communicate via a Unix socket. And probably it's just enough to essentially abstract away the client interface via an gRPC socket, like roughly speaking. And then we can just communicate over Unix and pass in everything that the provider needs. Yeah, and then the provider does whatever he'd like to do and fetches the secret, returns it to the operator, and then the operator does the rest.
Okay.
The whole permission and credentials issue like this is a big topic. It requires probably a lot of refactoring and changes, I think, but we'll see.
Okay.
That's at least like my initial thought on that. So there may be others, but I think like the whole problem hinges on this highly privileged operator.
For me, it makes sense to go with the gRPC route, especially because we can then leverage HashiVault's Go plugin libraries. HashiCorp Go plugin libraries, which are fairly mature and tested.
Yeah.
But again, even exploring what are the possibilities here and which path to take.
Yeah, that's another meeting. I was just curious. Yeah.
Next topic, also relevant, CSI Secret Store interoperability. I added you to a Slack chat on their Slack channel. Basically, this thread is going up again after on KubeCon I met with Rita, one of the maintainers there, and chair of SIGALF in Kubernetes. And they are working towards creating a separate controller for doing secret syncing. What I would like to push is that this separate controller is actually external secrets. And whenever they have the need for it, they just install external secrets with their Helm chart and it works. So the only thing that we need to be sure is that they already are thinking about creating a separation layer between the secret store class provider and the API manifest that would be the target for the controller to reconcile. We just need really to figure out a clever way to leverage the provider interface, the CSI provider interface, even if it is with a custom provider on our side. I think that would probably be the best approach. And then we could even leverage external secrets API for that, actually creating an external secrets resource and just passing a source ref of type CSI class or whatever, something like that, which then would make the project extensible to CSI driver as well natively.
Yeah.
We still need to see. I'm glad that Nilek was able to join very quickly, because it actually shows that we have room for collaboration.
Yeah. They like the idea of like we swapping and like joining their community meeting, and they also like join our community meeting. And the way that I set up like next community meeting 2 weeks would be good if we have like a presentation about external secrets operator for them. So basically showing how it works, but maybe more focused on the API and how we interact with stuff. And also, I think bringing up this idea that you're just mentioning, but then they also joining our community meeting and making a presentation about Secret Store CSI driver. I think it's also nice to have this recorded on both. So
Yeah,
I think people look for this, and it will be on YouTube on both community meetings. So yeah. So the idea is that in 2 weeks we present ESO at theirs, and they present Secret Store CSI driver at ours.
I think it would be also nice if we can join tomorrow's meeting that they're going to have.
Yeah.
Just to actually make to stand there. I think it's 8 a.m. PST, Pacific time, which means it should be around. I don't know. I'm very bad with time zones.
I think it's now -3 hours roughly.
No, Pacific time is even before. -3 is where I am. GMT -3 is where I am. I think Pacific is -8.
Yeah, I mean like the current time, not my time, the current time, whatever your current
Okay.
time is.
Minus-
Subtract 3 hours and then.
Okay.
I think that's what I calculated.
Yeah.
Pacific.
I think it might be like maybe 7 p.m. Berlin time and 2 p.m. my time, something like that.
Yeah. So. Yeah. Go ahead. Sorry.
I will take the preparing draft of the presentation, kind of showing the APIs that we want to focus. I won't focus on everyone. I will just basically focus on external secret store, generators, how that happened, what's changed, and what I think it could be the path for a CSI provider in external secret side, which would push that agenda as I mentioned. Of course, we also need to see if they're interested in that. Next point that I want to just briefly talk, because I don't think this is a high priority now, cloud events. We kind of need to really decide if this is going to be our asynchronous approach for reconciling or not. But that does mean that we need to do an investigation if that would actually do the job. So I don't think this is something that we need to focus right now, just having in our minds. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Next one by Moritz, LTS release process.
Yeah, this PR has been open for quite a while, and I just want to ask if you have any input, if you looked at it, if there's anything missing.
I did provide the input that I think it was relevant. I think you already even committed it back to your PR. I really have nothing to add specifically. For me, it's good.
I didn't have a look yet. I can have a look tomorrow.
The LTS, it would be good if you could also take a look, Lucas, or
yeah.
Maybe we can also ping SAB just so we can have a kind of majority of maintainers agreeing on that, because this is like strong commitment.
Yes. We can maybe. Do we have like? Are we in a rush to merge this?
I think it would be great to get this in before the next release, so that way we can,
Start announcing it at least.
yeah, and exercise a little bit to test if it's actually working the way we would like it to work, and to get a little bit of training on it, because just having the process, we also need like some experience on it. So the GA release and everything that comes before that, then the stuff is actually like smooth around the edges.
Yeah, I'll ping Seb. Maybe Gustavo, Seb, and I, we can just have a look together. Yeah.
I also add the LTS release process as a bit for ESO GA and for the 0.8.2 release, because that's what we've just discussed. Next point, discuss PR 2208.
Yes, I raised it. So this PR has been pending for a couple of weeks now. I did receive a review comment from you, Gustavo, which I then eventually fixed and submitted another. Committed, like pushed a commit for the fix.
Yeah, I've seen it.
I don't know if you want me to walk you through like what's the process, because this is my first contribution to this project, so I don't know how it goes. Do I have to like join in a community meeting and walk you through the PR, or do you review it in your own time and then like we go back and forth via the PR?
Generally
speaking,
GitHub comments.
Go on, Lucas.
Yeah, well, probably we're going to say the same thing. Generally speaking, we don't require you to join the community meeting. Like the review would happen in a way as like best effort. But if you join and you want to walk us through, we won't complain.
Well, I can. I mean, if that helps you, of course. I don't want to, like you
It
may
will.
have other things on your
It
plate.
will. It will.
It does.
And generally speaking,
Okay.
this is a topic that we actually know that we want to implement. So having Vault IAM off, it's something that is on our backlog for a while. So thanks for adding it as a possibility.
Sure. Thanks. Yeah. I mean. Yeah, I can share my screen and walk you through the changes if that helps, or I can first discuss, like what I was, how I've implemented.
If you also want to do that on a separate meeting, just because maybe you're not prepared to do it right now, that's also fine.
Yeah, that works too. I mean, whichever way is faster. I'm actually looking for this functionality. That's why. But I'm okay either ways. I can quickly walk you through the changes now.
Okay. Are you able to share your screen?
Yeah, I can try. Let's see. Yeah, it's asking me for permission, which I'm giving it now. It's saying that Google Chrome may need to reopen. So let me rejoin. Maybe it may disconnect me from this call. I'm just gonna quit and reopen because I gave the permission to share my screen. Just a second, I'll be back.
This PR specifically, I remember that I had questions about it. Now I need to, let's see if I can remember. Oh, I think I remember now. We're basically using AWS to authenticate it to Vault instead of using, okay.
Okay, I'm back. Hopefully it will let me share the screen now. Okay. Are you able to see my screen now?
Yes.
Yes.
Yep, works.
Perfect. Yeah, it's been a while since I submitted the PR, so pardon my pardon my memory here. Okay. Well, so before I go into the code changes, from the from the from the talking about the problem statement that I'm trying to solve, I think you guys already know I'm like trying to enable Vault IAM auth. The way I have implemented the fix is what was discussed here in this 616 thread. So in this thread, we are talking about like how to solve this, like how to go about implementing the solution, which essentially is what I have implemented in the code. So what I have done here is that, just a second. Sorry. Yeah, not the docs, not this guy either. Yeah, so it all starts here. I am adding the Vault IAM auth as a new type, the Vault AWS auth as a new type in the secret store for Vault types .go file. And so that's what I'm doing here. And in this, I have like taken most of the code from AWS auth, so that I create like a set of package here under this go a package here, and under this wall.go not sorry here under this I am I'm just following the pattern that has been followed before. I'm creating a function to like request token with IAM auth function. And there is option. So essentially there are three ways it can fetch credentials. One is to use the credentials from the service account that you can explicitly define. The other option is through the static credentials using a secret. And the third is to default to the controller's or the operator's pod's identity. So all three options have been implemented here. The highest preference goes to the explicitly defined service account, and the lowest preference goes to the controller's own pod identity.
That is
Yeah,
actually a
that's
question
pretty
that I
much
want
it.
to ask to also have input from Lucas and Moritz. The comment that I did before I stopped reviewing and start preparing to KubeCon was that some bits of the code implementation were referencing to AWS API, but the code itself
Yes.
was spun up as a Vault new code, even if it was based on AWS auth. What is the best, in your opinion, here would be to actually just couple to AWS auth API and new features on AWS auth gets automatically populated to Vault, or to actually split the code and prevent coupling?
Yeah, so I actually went ahead. So my initial thought was to decouple them, but then I thought I was actually torn between decoupling or coupling. So initially I submitted a PR with a coupled code and saw and like waited for a review. When you said that, do you think that it is the best idea to decouple them? I also thought that it may be best, so I eventually went with the decision to decouple them. So if you now see that, now see the code, it's completely decoupled.
Yeah.
Although since I'm referencing to existing code, I clearly mention it as a comment that, hey, I have sourced this code from here, but it may be a little different based on what we are doing here, at least from the functions or the package of IAM auth. On the types, yeah, now I have like decoupled them, although it may look similar, but they are decoupled at this point. Gustavo.
Yeah. I have a preference for decoupling, but I want to see if Lucas and Moritz agree with that, actually. Because the price that we pay is duplicate code, right?
Right.
Yeah, I think it's a
That's
good approach.
Is there any implementation that we can have like generalized, like maybe
I will already put my argument why I don't think it's a good idea.
Yeah, it's just two times, yeah.
No, and it will make plugin life harder. Because then we won't really be able to create only AWS package versus only Vault package. Yes. So, okay.
Yeah.
That is good. I will take a look on your PR, Gaurav. Are you on Kubernetes Slack as well?
I am, yes. I will be.
I will ping you if I have any questions then.
Yes, I'll be happy to jump on a call. If you are the reviewer, Gustavo, I'll be happy to jump on a call and explain any question you have. I'm readily available on Slack. Just ping me. I'll be keeping an eye out for your DMs. If I see any, I'll respond to you promptly.
Perfect.
Yeah, thanks, Gaurav. This looks very thorough. It's documented, so this is like from a first look. I only took a brief look in the last days, so this looks very thorough and good. So good job. I'm sure we were getting this into the next release, and it will be available soon.
Oh, perfect. Thank you. Is there like an ETA on the next release? Just curious. Not that I'm rushing things through, but just curious.
I am right now focusing on a very old PR that I promised maybe 2 months ago that I would take it and push it over the line. Is the Orphan Secrets. And I'm also waiting for some people from onboard base to do some things. Yours will be either the second or the third PR that I look after I finish the one that I'm just coding.
Right. No, sorry to interrupt you. My question was not on the review of the PR ETA. I was asking on the ETA of the next release. Is when are we planning for the next release? Is it do we do it on need basis? Is that how it happens?
But I would suggest, even just because I think there are some bug fixes that were implemented right now on main and they are not released, that we let the LTS release process for 0.8.3, just so we can actually cut a release with the bug fixes.
Sure. Okay, thanks.
Do you think that's sensible, Lucas and Moritz?
So you're saying that we should do a bug fix release ASAP, and then a feature release in the next weeks? Did I understood that correctly?
Yes. There are some PRs even for GitLab provider that we kind of fix some bugs, right?
Yeah.
So maybe we want to push that forward and then add the LTS release.
Yeah, though the GitLab one, that's a pretty severe one, and this will take a couple of days, I think, to get that properly reviewed, because it's a refactoring thing and we don't have proper end-to-end tests for it, so we need to do a lot of manual testing to ensure that we don't break anything. So yeah, I think it's I think we can I think we can probably get the.
So what we can do is actually either one of the two, either the GitLab or the LTS, whatever gets merged first, we release 0.8.2. That can be sensible, right? So if the bug fix is finished first, we publish a new release with the bug fixed. If the LTS gets finished first, we publish the release with that. Go on, Lucas.
Yeah, you mentioned end-to-end test, and then I thought end-to-end test for this pull request, Gaurav's pull request would be nice. But I think it's also not that simple to implement if you're not from inside, because then you're like talking to AWS and Vault in this case. But you can just expect that you have access to stuff and then you can implement. But yeah, you can probably merge this pull request without it, and we write an end-to-end test after that.
Yeah. It might not even be hard to do that, because at least the end-to-end test could test the secret access key, which we already use for the provider end-to-end test when we test AWS. So we can at least leverage the secret access key as a mean to authenticate against HashiVault, but we would need to figure out HashiVault configuration, which is the tricky part.
Yes. Yeah. Just remembered because you mentioned end-to-end test for something else, and I remember. Okay.
I will add the comment so we don't forget. We already discussed 0.8.2 release. We know what will be the trigger for making it happen. Next one, ESO GA. Just a quick catch up on the things that we're missing. Do you have the link for the project here? If not, I can send it. I am going to send it to you. Here, the things that we're missing for GA are the V1 types, which is kind of easy. The plugin functionality, which we have discussed. Provider versioning strategy. This, I think, it's kind of a one when we have the plugin functionality in place, because then we kind of can version them separately. I think they are together. And the behavior of external secrets find. I think for this one we have a PR already, right?
I don't know. I can't remember.
I think we do. I think Imran did create one. Is there anything else that we're missing from this list?
Regarding the types, I think it's not just like copy pasting the V1 beta one and make them like JA proper V1. I think that we have to go through like every node in our CRDs to ensure that we clean things up. For instance, in the GitLab provider, there is a typo in the CRD instead of like a camel case. I think it's called secret ref, I think, with a capital S in the beginning, which is like mind-boggling. And these kinds of small typos, small issues, clean up the conventions.
This is also captured in an issue called standardized provider fields.
Okay, perfect. Well then, that's it.
I will
but is it in this project board? No.
I am putting on the on the documentation. It's in here.
Yeah, makes sense.
Just double check if everything is there. If not, we need to add them. That's the whole point, okay?
Mm-hmm.
All the things that we've discussed that are important are already there. I double check that. We just need to be sure that we are on track with that.
So push secrets for Kubernetes is not available.
No.
It's funny because I promised it for like thousands of people.
You can implement it.
Actually, SAP started implementing it. There's an open issue, and it was during KubeCon or a couple of days before.
Yeah, a couple of days before.
Yeah. So. Yeah.
Okay. The most pain there is actually refactoring the client that we use for testing, because that client was not very well, constructed. So a big refactor needs to be done, and then implementing the feature itself is easy.
The other thing about GA, so push secret for Kubernetes, but then metadata policy fetch for GCP and also Kubernetes on that table that we have.
I think we have covered metadata policy across all providers. SAB
all providers.
Did
so
that.
I need to update the docs as well. Okay.
We can double check, but I'm pretty sure SAB did that for all the missing providers.
Cool. That's
in
nice.
like a week.
Cool. Yeah, so then we need to update the docs, but that's fine.
Let me know that. For metadata policy. Next topic that I want to bring very quickly I think we are ready to go to start the CNCF incubating process after hearing about the use cases that we had for ESO, and after the fact that VMware Tanzu has officially added themselves as adopters. I've already merged that. I think now we have concrete evidence that our use case here is worldwide and that we should become incubating. What do you think?
I would be more comfortable after GA, no?
Do we need to have a GA to be incubating?
We don't need, but I don't know.
Yeah, I feel you.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, there are some things that should be fixed, like a couple of naming conventions and so on, before I also feel comfortable. The other thing is,
Incubating is not graduated.
yeah,
I
I
know,
know,
but
I know.
have you seen the projects on incubating? I think it's, if you see the
They
graph
all.
also from the keynote.
I know these are hotshot projects.
It's not
But
about being hotshot. It's just the expectations of the project on this bracket. Like, I understand the meaning of incubating, but like on CNCF, like, I don't know how to explain. I would be more comfortable after 1.0.
Yeah, I have the feeling that the other projects that are incubating are they have a little bit like bigger and wider community. I guess it's kind of hard to tell, to be honest. It's not just the number of code contributors. It's just way more than that maintainers, and sometimes, or most of the time, they just have like they are backed by a company where they have people working on it full time, and we just don't. At least like not full time. So we are not on the same level in terms of providing support, providing bug fixes, and stuff like that. So I like, that's just my opinion. I think we need to grow the maintainer base for a little bit to be a bit more stable. But yeah, that's just my opinion. Like I have a feeling that we do like provide like a lot of support, and it's really hard to get features on and to get people to build features out. Sometimes they come from the community. A good example is the push secrets for Kubernetes provided by SAP and so on. But still, it's pretty tough to go beyond just providing support. Like all the
yeah,
building up a
and
roadmap and like all that other stuff.
and especially with the long-term release process that is going to add quite of capacity. Go on, Lucas.
Yeah, basically the same thing. I think like you mentioned that one of the prerequisites was like having a big name on the adopters file, but I think the biggest requisite for me is having a big name, being a maintainer as a company.
That's not really a requirement for
It's
incubating.
not from me.
Okay, just to okay.
Yeah, from me, because
I kind of agree with you. I just wanted to bring the discussion because I think if we look at what CNCF asks, we
yeah.
are already compliant. We can already check those boxes. We have sponsors, ambassadors that can represent us, several. So all of the boxes that will be hard, we already have them. So that's why I was just pointing it here. So what I captured here in the meeting notes is that we would be more comfortable after GA release, or if we had more maintainers / having a company officially sponsoring the project. That kind of captures what we think about incubating right now.
Yeah, I don't
What
think we
what
need all of that.
Yeah, not all of that, but like a combination of that, or maybe yeah.
I did put or. Or can
Okay,
be
or is
yeah,
fine.
it's or. It's
can I
not
ask?
both.
What do you mean, Gustavo, with a company officially sponsoring us?
Having maintainers that are paid work time to actually maintain ESO. So if a bug fix appears, that person during working hours can go there and fix it instead of
Yeah,
depending on sheer will.
yeah, yeah,
Not that I'm
exactly.
complaining, we've got very far with sheer will, by the way, but
Yeah,
kind of
yeah, yeah.
probably we need to step the game up for the next steps.
Yes.
Or maybe having some sort of funded sponsoring by the community, like when we start to have, I don't know, $10K per month from the community, then we can start to sponsor ourselves, something like that.
I was looking into that, and that's not going to happen.
I know.
If you take a look at Open Collective sponsorship, like the 3 largest projects, they have like a funding of, I think, like 1 full-time employee, and everything below that they just get a coffee.
Yeah.
Like every week or so, and so it's just, that's
I
not
know.
going to happen. That's not how open source works nowadays.
Unfortunately, right?
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah.
Good that we went through that. Last one, I couldn't really read it. CNCF project update. It seems after KubeCon, Amy sent an email to external secrets maintainers mailing group asking for some things KubeCon related / project related. We do need to check that. The email was sent today. I couldn't really read it. I just know it was on my box.
Okay. Do you know what the subject is?
No.
Okay, yeah, we look for it.
Last point.
I didn't get it, by the way.
Yeah, that's because I still need to figure out your things as a maintainer. So
Okay.
my fault.
No
I will
problem.
do that today.
Okay, this is the subject. I think I found it.
And last point on our agenda, Yorisa wants to contribute remaining missing features and help with open telemetry topics.
Yeah, but you mentioned that the only missing feature is per secret for Kubernetes, and it's open, the PR, right?
We are using Prometheus client. Changing that to use OpenTelemetry client would be a big win. And
Yeah, he
something that
wants
he can
he
actually
wants
take.
to do that. Yeah, we can open an issue, and he wants to take care. And he's actually having company time for that a bit. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. So that's, we don't have an issue for that, right?
Create an issue.
Okay. Yeah.
Gustavo, I did get the email. I am in the mailing list. Sorry.
Yes.
Oh, nice.
But let's just double check that you are everywhere that you need to be, but that's a good sign.
Yeah, I don't think I am, but on the mailing list, yes.
That's
Because
a good sign.
I cannot approve yet on the repo.
Then that one is easy. That one is just some clicks on GitHub.
All right.
That's good. Having said that, we are out of topics right now, and also a little bit over time.
Yeah, I need
I
to go.
will stop the recording now. Okay.
I have one last question before you
Go
guys
on.
leave. I'm sorry, I know we are over time. So there are a couple of PRs, couple of issues that I was thinking to fix in the vault space now. Now that I was into the code, so I thought this may be like an opportunity to go also fix a couple of other things. Should I wait for my PRs first in the same space to be merged, or versus opening competing PRs?
You can open competing PRs. Any help is good. Since they will both touch Vault, you just need to be aware that a conflict might happen.
Which will. I'm sure it will.
But other than that, if you are, I don't know, confident with rebasing your conflicts afterwards, then you're fine to start working on something else. If you're not, then waiting is the best.
Right. Okay. Yeah, that's what I wanted to know. Thanks. So it's on me eventually to then, obviously do all of the, like retrofitting, whatever.
Yeah, it's good that you will actually know already what the retrofitting means, but that's something that on the whole community we've seen a couple of times. Some people created a PR, new feature, and then we had to rebase without knowing it. It happens more than often.
Okay, I would rather wait then. I have the fix. Whatever issue I was looking at, I had the fix in my head, so I would rather wait for this PR to be merged before I start, like the other competing PR, because it may be just too much to then retrofit. So it's better to wait.
For sure.
But expect a few more PRs from me, especially in the vault space, since I'm into the code.
Nice.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
We
I appreciate it.
Of course. Thanks.
And thank you all for joining then. I will stop the recording now. See you in a couple of weeks.
Thanks. Bye.
Uh,
Cheers.